To Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, speaking to you from our Troy Cable Studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama, where in just a few moments we'll be all tucked in and ready to go. But with our show today, of course, you can see us today on Facebook, live from our studios, as I mentioned, on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. Of course, Troy Cable Vision has been bringing you this show over 23 years now. It started in 98, and we've been going strong ever since. And we hope that everybody out there is having a good time as we start. Bill Rice is entering the game for the first time tonight, and there goes the final gun as Rice comes in. Here it is, Tennessee Orange. Tennessee Orange. Good morning. Bill Rice coming in here, of course, the son
Mike,
of...
you've used that joke, and Bill Rice comes in here for the first time, and there goes the final gun. It makes me laugh every time, but I bet you used it a million times.
I have, of course. That was my college experience. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Number 65, Mike Amos, enters the ball game for the first time tonight. And there goes the final gun.
That was my high school experience.
That's about how much college experience I had.
Yeah,
There's somebody coming in here right now. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Well, Mike Amos coming in here on Zoom this morning, or are you just on radio? I mean, just on telephone. What's the deal?
No, I'm on Zoom.
On Zoom, of course, that pretty face will be on your screen soon. Brought to you by Pike Tree Service. You're talking about guys that work hard. Here comes my good buddy. We're going to try to get him in, too, if he'll. Forrest Lee comes in here. Forrest, we did hear from the guy, and everything's going good. Want to mention, of course, Charles Henderson High School has given up football until next year at this time. What do you think?
Well, I can report just from reading Facebook that a lot of people aren't too pleased with it, don't understand that it was necessary. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but yeah. We've gone over it. The one player for Carroll, the center, tested positive the day after the game, and everybody that played on defense for Charles Henderson had to quarantine for 14 days. None of them were tested positive. But so that no football practice, they're not even going to school. So.
Oh boy, I tell you that's.
But that was the homecoming game and that was a Brantley game and homecoming game, and they just got some big momentum with a big upset win over Ozark.
So we're not going to see the showdown between Brantley, 1A Brantley, and 5A Charles Henderson.
I was looking forward to that game.
I was too. And see Tucker Kilcrease play quarterback for Brantley.
So good.
Yeah, exactly right. So all you folks from Brantley that are licking your chops to come play Charles Henderson, it will
Too
not
bad.
happen. It will not happen. And of course,
and those kids would have enjoyed playing in that stadium.
Yeah, no question. Looking at Brantley, they're number one in the state in Class 1A this week, 8-0 going into this week's games. The other teams are pretty well known in that classification. Linden 7-0, and Maplesville 7-1, and Sweetwater 5-2. And Notasulga, those right there are strong 1A teams, and they're lined up getting ready. And another team in our general area that we don't talk about much is McKenzie. McKenzie's 7-1, so.
Wow, that's the best team they've had in years.
I know it. You're right, and you're right. But they're in this part of the country too. So, and another team that is sitting back waiting for a big ball game this weekend with Brantley is the Florella. I want to say Wildcats. I'm just guessing about that middle nickname, but. Florella and Brantley play this weekend.
That'll be a good game. Florella's 2A.
Yeah, and they lost for a long time. No, they're ranked here. Right here, I'm looking at it. It says unless the advertiser is wrong.
Maybe they dropped down to 1A.
They did. They're 7-1.
Hard to believe that Florella is 1A.
And we got a huge game here in Troy this weekend, and you'll be seen. You don't even have to leave your den. You can sit there with a hot cup of coffee or a cold glass of milk, and not buttermilk, hopefully, and watch the Pike Liberal Arts game against number 1 ranked Glenwood. Glenwood 7-0, ranked number 1 in the Alabama Independent Schools
Good game.
Rankings. And they'll go head to head with once beaten Pike Liberal Arts 6-1. So Pike Liberal can be the hero this weekend. They'll be playing at Delaney Kirvin Stadium. Kickoff time is 7 o'clock. That's tomorrow night. Glenwood and Pike Liberal going at it. 2 of the best teams in the private schools.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fantastic game. That ought to have a good crowd for that one.
Of course, Glenwood leads the state right now, number 1, and Pike Liberal comes in as the number 7th ranked team. Number 2 ranked is Bessemer. They're a tough team. Escambia, coached by Hugh Fountain, is 6-1. There's number 3. Jackson Academy 9-0. Patrician, 7-1. Chambers, coached by Tommy Garrett, is 7-1. And then Pike Liberal is 6, and then Edgewood 6-2. Crenshaw, coached by Wayne Grant, 6-2, and Morgan Academy 6-2.
Who beat Chambers? Chambers beat.
I don't know. You're exactly right. I don't know who beat Chambers unless it was some team from out of state. But want to look at Class 2A Rice, Mars Hill Bible, and buddy, wherever that team is, they are really good. Do you know much about Mars Hill Bible, Mike? If you don't, please find some information on Mars Hill Bible, the number 1 ranked team.
I think we looked it up one time. They're like up in North Alabama somewhere.
Yeah, they are. They are, but buddy, they are good every year. Them along with Fife. Fife is number 1 in the rankings in class. That would be class. What is Fife now? Oh, they're in 3A. They're number 1 in 3A. Fife is, and of course they hadn't lost the ball game in forever. Wasn't that what Forrest?
Edgewood beat Chambers 40-36.
Edgewood might beat Chambers 40-36. So that's who beat them in the regular season. And the green and gold Edgewood just dominated the private schools for years and years, and their coach left them and went to Autauga Academy, and he hasn't done near as well at Autauga Academy. But he won 80 something straight games while he was at
Edgewood.
Edgewood, yeah.
Auburn.
Mars Hill's in Florence.
Mars Hill Baptist is in Florence. It's probably a Church of Christ school, wouldn't you say?
I don't know.
A lot of Church of Christ folks up in North Alabama. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It's just another thing you learn.
Yeah.
If you'll watch my show, sit there and listen,
Yeah,
you'll learn something every
yeah,
show.
I just learned something. Yeah.
Well, Forrest Lee's in the house, and Forrest, is that a new shirt you got on?
This is Pike County Lake shirt.
Pike County Lake shirt. And of course, Pike County Lake shirt. Are they catching any brim out there right now?
I don't know, but I think it's slowed down.
Did you ever just, you worked out there, did you ever go wet a hook?
Not much.
Isn't that funny?
You ought to never just take a cricket and just go and see if you could catch something off the pier.
I haven't been fishing in a long time.
And see, Jackson would love to go fishing.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. I need to take
You
him.
can go to my pond and fish if you want to.
Okay. I was never
But
good.
you go, and you go to Pike, go to Pike County Lake. But,
You
Mike
said
goes-
Mr. Johnson was the best fisher in Pike County, right?
Larry Johnson, who was buried last week in Troy, was not only one of the top insurance people in the country, he was one of the top fishermen in the country. And
I've heard it. Too many people
and,
for it not to be true.
I've been fishing with him over the years, and gosh, like I said, we'd be out there in the middle of the pond. I've been out there all day long, not getting a bite, and he'd come and park his car. This is at an Oak Crow Lake. He'd park his car, take his coat off, he'd take his tie off, and start walking down the bank, and all you'd hear the rest of the afternoon was, hold him, hold him. When he catches them, he say, hold him. And we weren't catching anything.
I mean, I just never figured it out. I mean, the rod and reel with the lures, knowing how to move the lure. I can't remember ever catching the fish with a lure. You know, if I had the bobber on the rod and reel,
Yeah.
I could catch one.
Yeah, well, you know.
And then I got hung up in the woods and on the stumps all the time. I caught turtles. It was just a disaster.
And the problem is, you catch the turtle, you couldn't get him out and get your hook out of his mouth.
I'd have to give it to Dad or something,
line.
Grand or Hickey or something. But you know who was good was my brother Rush. He was into it. He was in the bass group, and he had the fancy rod and open spin wheel rods, and he was a good fisherman.
That reminds me, Michael been around fishing all his life, and he never fished a whole lot. And of course, his grandmother was a good fisherman, Beulah Crow, and they used to
I
fish.
used to go fishing all the time with her in a cane pole. I could catch anything with a cane pole.
I could. That's about all I could do. But I even got the cane poles hung up.
I still use the old 33, the old spinning reel, the
Did you
Nepco 33.
use worms or crickets on your cane pole, or both?
Yeah, cricket.
I'd use liver to catch the big catfish.
Yeah.
See, I've never caught a catfish, nor do I want to catch a catfish.
The catfish was so big, you had to drag them out instead of pull them out. You had to drag them out.
You could see those catfish swimming in that little pond behind Molly Pawpaw's house.
Their head was big as a basketball.
I know.
I'm telling you, they were huge.
They're scary looking to me.
Let me tell you something. You got a right to be scared of catfish because he got some fins on you that can hurt you.
Yeah. Did I tell you my story about fishing at Collie Pond?
See, that was a great place to fish.
We did it all the time because KK and Hickey had a trailer up
that's right,
there, and
that's
my mom
right.
and dad had one for a while when we lived in Opelika.
Yeah.
Right, we were right next to Matt Colley's trailer. But we were fishing off the bank at Collie Pond one time, and the grass was real high up to our calves. And we had a little peekaboo dog that looked like a little miniature sheepdog named Muffin. I was probably 8 years old, 9 years old. And Muffin was the sweetest, sissiest dog there was. But then suddenly we heard Muffin growling, and we looked down there. There was a water moccasin in Muffin's mouth, and Muffin bit the water moccasin in half.
Are you serious?
And that water moccasin was about 2 feet from all of us fishing. So I wonder if Muffin saved
Did
all our...
Muffin get bit?
No.
Yeah,
Muffin
but,
might
you
have
know,
saved us from the water
My
moccasin.
experience is that my Aunt Emmylou Renfro was a member of Crow at College Pond.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
was Roy
Yeah.
Crow. And I used to see snakes all the time because they'd be underneath those trees that were growing in the water. You
Yeah.
know? And but boy, to hear those lines zing, zing, zing when they catch those big old bull brim. I call them bull brim because they had no necks. They're big old bull
Yeah.
brim.
They had big brim up there. And
Gill Kraken, bluegill.
some good bass.
And you know what?
It was
Jeff?
like going back in the prehistoric times. You would see these birds that would fly over that looked like they were from, the land of the lost.
Of course, Larry Johnson fished in that pond so many times that he eventually, not too long before he died,
I heard that.
buying that
I think everybody in Pike County fished up there.
And the Colley family, I think, will be using that
How
for
big of a
years.
pond was that? Like 4 or 5 acres?
Not a big pond. It
Probably.
was, that's about right. That's about right. It was not a big pond,
No.
but maybe 10.
It
It could have been 10 acres. I'm not
it
sure.
was a little bigger than y'all's pond. I mean, what, twice the size of...
No, it wasn't as big as our pond.
No,
Our pond's 40 acres.
Oh, I didn't know it was that
Yeah,
big.
it goes.
I stand corrected.
You got to keep on going. You got to throw life.
Yeah, you can turn the corner. You can turn the corner. You're still moving. But Colley's Pond was well conditioned. They fertilized it like they fertilized the Pike County Lake, and
They worked it hard.
I can't believe that they could have gone out there and just off the pier caught enough brim to fry some brim for lunch.
I remember one time, another fishing story. I think it was me fishing with Dad. Dad was a good fisherman. He loved to catch brim, and you put them in those baskets, and he had 30 of them in there. And I think I was playing with the little hook that had the brim floating up below the boat, and I dropped it.
Oh boy!
So I lost. Dad had been fishing all day and had
You were
30
real
brim.
popular after that, wasn't you?
And Dad said, "Well, I'm diving down there in it," and I just thought that there was just snapping turtles and snakes. I said, "No, Dad." He didn't dive in there.
Oh, gosh. But that is.
The one thing about cane poles when you're a kid growing up is you'd be down there with your friends and somebody'd be casting, and you have a hook you'd call your
Yeah, that's another.
Yeah, you're right. If it didn't look where you were casting, you could hook somebody in the ear. But
You know, Bill was talking about Crow Lake. Like, I didn't realize it, but my granddad apparently used to have ski teams come in from all over the Southeast,
yeah.
and they would have ski shows out at Crow Lake.
I've seen a picture of that.
The group from Miami used to come up. He got them to come up. You know, he was a car dealer, and he did a lot of promotions and all that. And yeah, he'd have the ski teams come up. They'd have the ramps out there and all that. You know?
Well, does people still ski in it? Or
No, but at one
They
time, if they'd seen how many stumps are in that lake, they wouldn't be skiing in it. But they did it one time, and my wife to this day can ski with one ski.
Slalom?
She's 73 years old, and she can slalom.
I can't do
she
that.
was born to ski. She's down
Can you
in Phillips
ski?
Inlet.
Can you ski?
No,
I can't get up.
Not really, but she would. You know, I would pull her on our boat, and she'd ski around Phillips Inlet. We never did ski in Crow Lake, but we skied a lot at Phillips Inlet, and she loved to ski. You know, growing up. And that's what a lot of people did.
You can definitely ski at Youngblood Lake where the Whaley's house is.
And see, and that's not a big lake, but that's where, if you learn to ski, that's where you pretty much learn to ski at Youngblood's lake, and where Alec Whaley owns that lake now. But you know, I've seen people. You know, some of these guys I'm gonna mention were great skiers. One of them was Jerry Shirley, not Jimmy Shirley, but Jerry Shirley used to ski barefooted. Bob Whaley was a good skier.
Sally Green was on the ski team at Auburn.
Yeah, that's right. Sally,
I did a story on Sally one time.
Sally was a skier at Auburn. You know, she probably could join the A club if she wanted to, Mike.
I don't know. I think that was not a scholarship funded.
You know where they used to go ski? They go,
amateur thing.
you know, the lake there in Tuskegee. Have you ever seen the lake in Tuskegee?
You know, maybe one time.
Right in front of the old hospital there.
Veterans Hospital?
Yeah, that's where Auburn's ski team used to practice all the time. They would have the ramps.
I
there
did a
and so
feature
forth.
story on her one time. I remember she was a real good skier.
What a great family, the Burton Green family. Boy, just beautiful girls. I mean, beautiful girls, and he was a great guy.
You know who? I only tried to learn to ski one time. You know who tried to teach me?
Who?
Coach Bradshaw.
Oh, did he? Did he really?
Yeah, the Bradshaw family, somebody in the Bradshaw family, not Charles and Coach Bradshaw, but one of their aunts or uncles or something had a little cabin at Lake Martin, and I went up there one day with Charles, probably in junior high, and Charles could ski good. And bless his heart, Coach Bradshaw, they tried to teach me and tried to let me get up about 5 or 6 times, and finally I told them, hey, y'all just enjoy yourself and forget about this.
Let me tell you what sort of put a stop to us skiing in Phillips Inlet was when they started showing me big pictures of these alligators that were sunning right offshore, right there, about 12 feet. One of them was 12 feet long.
I know, they're all over Lake Eufaula, aren't they?
But what I'm saying,
we swam out there for years, bull sharks and alligators.
well, but what I'm saying though, here it is. I've got my little sweetheart daughter Camille, who was a very good skier, sitting back there either waiting for me to pick her up on the boat after she's gone down, or even after she's got set to take off. I did that, and not knowing then about the big alligators in that place.
But you have never heard of anybody being attacked, even swimming or skiing by an alligator. So they're really, I guess, we're
and most of these were filmed, and pictures were taken way back in the back end of that lake, Phillips Inlet, which is a big body of water right when you come into Panama City Beach from
they're talking about opening it back up, opening the jetty back up where they could build a marina down there.
Boy, if they could, that would enhance the value of people's property.
all the rich people in Rosemary Beach and Alpha Beach and all those areas would love to have a marina right there.
Am I going to put you, Will, you on Zoom? I don't need to put you on hold. Let me go to this phone here. Good morning, Will. Maybe you do.
Because his voice is on the phone.
All right, are you on right here, or what are you doing?
Nope, we lost.
I'm on the phone on Zoom.
All right, I might put you on hold then.
Well, we lost that person, so they'll have to call back.
Okay. Yeah, that person needs to call back. Maybe he's on that other line. But it is a Thursday, and we're looking forward to a big weekend. It's homecoming at Troy University, and Mike, we've had some wonderful homecomings before, but this will be the first homecoming that maybe other than it being rained out one time before, this is only the second time since 1954 that this parade, giant Troy University Appreciation Day parade, has been canceled. Let's put you on hold now a second and see what happens. Good morning, you on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Is this Will?
It is. I just drove through Troy.
Okay, where you heading, to Montgomery, or where you going?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, you going up to see your cousin? Let me bring Mike Amos in. I'll be right back with you. All right, I got both of you now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mike? Hello, Mike Amos.
Yeah, you got me.
All right, Mike Amos got Will Matthews just drove through Troy heading to Memphis, Tennessee to visit with his multi-millionaire cousin. Is that right, Will?
Well, he's on his way. He's already won a tournament and he's doing real well on the senior tour.
Tell us about him and how you became kin to him, Will. If the whole public wants to know.
Well, my aunt is his mother's sister. So he's my mom's cousin.
That's pretty close.
So I'm going to see her, and she's 84 years old. And Doug, I go see her once a year, and I normally go in June when they're having the FedEx Pro Tournament. My aunt's a member of that club, and I always go to the tournament. Well, last year they didn't have it. They moved it to August. But I went in June anyway, and I got to play with Doug, and we played at Southwind where they played the tournament. He was 49 at the time. Mike, he had 9 birdies and 9 pars. He shot a 61.
Now tell us the background, his background. You know, our pro here at Troy is from Memphis, you know, or actually used to be his brother used to be at the country club there.
Well, you might know him. Now, Doug played at LSU, and he went on the tour for about 5 or 6 years, and then he was in a car wreck and messed up his shoulder and couldn't play golf anymore. So he went 15 years without even playing golf.
All right, now correct me if I'm wrong. His name is Doug Wolf. Is that right?
Doug Barron.
Doug Barron. Is that right? That's Wolf's a different guy.
You know, he could win a lot more money if Nicholson and Derrick wouldn't play senior tournaments. Every time they play, they win. So I asked him if he played with Nicholson yet, and he said no. He doesn't. Nicholson plays with the big name players when they've got these tournaments.
And
aren't you shocked that Nicholson's playing the senior tour already? I thought he wouldn't play until he's played 55. Michael is a joke. Nicholson hits the ball so far, he's hitting sand wedge to every hole.
does he really?
Yeah, I know. And you give Phil Mickelson a sand wedge or a pitching wedge.
You're in trouble, aren't you?
He's unbeatable.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll go out there. He'll win every tournament. What's your thoughts on the Masters coming up in November? What's that course going to play like in November? You know, Michael, I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows. But I've seen pictures from the air, and they've planted overseed, you know, on the course, so it's really green. But in the roughs, it's brown. I mean, you can tell it's, you know, and the trees are, you know, got color in the trees a little bit. So it's going to be different.
Yeah. Back to Memphis and your aunt that lives there in Memphis. You know, don't get me wrong, Memphis is still a great city, but at one time, of course, Atlanta was a city in the South that really grew, because they got the airport and everything like that. But at one time, Memphis was a heavily, I would say, close to 1 million people lived in Memphis, but it's not as thriving a community as it used to be.
Oh, Mike, it's 3 million now.
It is, but that's the area. Is that right?
Right. My aunt lives in Collierville.
Yeah.
You got all kind of cities around Memphis that are part of Memphis.
Yeah.
Big. It's big.
Yeah.
Place.
Well, I know this, that my buddy Ben Beard here in Troy, his daughters both married a young man from Memphis. One of them's grandfather owned Holiday Inn. Kimmons Wilson. You ever heard that name, Kimmons Wilson, before? Both of his boys went to the University of Alabama. A lot of Memphis kids went to Alabama to school, and both Ben Beard's son-in-laws both went to Alabama. And they met these two beautiful girls from Troy, Alabama, and I helped put on both of them's wedding out in the cow pasture, or not cow pasture, beautiful pasture in front of Ben Beard's house.
Well, Michael will know this, but that football player from Memphis is the one that put Alabama on probation.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Bill Rice is here. I could
that big old
tell you
lineman.
that host Logan Young and Albert Means.
Yeah, Albert Means, and the thing about it, he wasn't that good. He was big, but he was.
Not only that, he was bad. He was overweight and not any good at all.
You don't hear of that Memphis connection like you used to, but it used to be a huge Alabama connection.
Yeah.
All of them were what they call Fijis. You know what a Fiji was, don't you? At Alabama, that's what they were.
Yeah.
And of course, that was fraternity, and a lot of Memphis kids were in that fraternity. Of course, Will Matthews from the Matthews Law Firm, and
Can Will give us his upset of the year in football this week? Any upsets you're seeing, Will?
Well, I don't know if it's an upset or not, but you can write it down. Ole Miss will beat Auburn Saturday.
oh no, I don't know.
You can write that one down. Ole Miss is better than South Carolina, and they will beat Auburn.
Well, they sure didn't play very well last week, Will.
They should have won, Mike. They had 6 interceptions.
Will, the reason you like them is because you sent your money to them for about 4 years. They almost broke you.
I just think Ole Miss is better than South Carolina, and I think they'll whip Auburn.
Okay, well, I tell you what.
Oh yeah. We got Forrest just had a good question from over in the green room. Does Donald Trump have a chance to come back and win this election, Will?
I think he's going to win bigger than he did last time.
Will, I just can't see that, Will Matthews from Ozark, Alabama.
All right, we're 12 days away. You just remember I said it, okay?
All right.
Now, I'll tell you why. He will lose the popular vote in the country by 5 million votes.
Well, he did that last time.
He lost by 3 million last time. He'll lose by more this time.
Okay.
But this is why he loses. California, he'll lose by 8 to 10 million votes. New York, he'll lose between 3 and 5 million votes. So let's say 15 million votes he loses by. He'll win the rest of the country by 10 million votes.
Well, he's got to win Florida. Do you think he'll win Florida?
Oh yeah, he's going away with Florida.
I tell you what, he's definitely going to win North Florida where I live. 'Cause every other vehicle has a Trump sticker or a Trump flag. I've never seen anything like.
Well, here it is. Will, you know about this? Pennsylvania,
Yeah, that's going to be the difference.
Michigan, and Ohio. Your son helped him win Pennsylvania 4 years ago. What do you think? I've seen the last poll I saw said he was down pretty big in Pennsylvania.
Hey, don't worry about that.
Hey, but Will, your son worked so hard for for Trump. He ended up marrying a Yankee, and now they have 2 or 3 children.
Well, they've got 2, 1-year-old and 2-year-old, and they're fixing out another one.
Oh gosh, she is. So you can say, well, he went to work for Trump, and he married a girl from up north, and now I've got 3 more grandchildren, either here or on the way.
Gosh, he could write a book, and then he.
And he would work to your law firm. What, 4 or 5 years ago? You worked for your law firm.
That's right. Now, Bill, he is going to write a book, but he can't write it until he gets out of the government.
Oh.
He signed a. They all do. The people that work for Trump sign a non-disclosure type agreement. But once he's out of the government, he can write his book, and it'll be good.
Well, hey, tell him to talk to me, and I'll help him edit it.
I thought Will writing it. I thought Will book about 52 masters.
That would be a great book.
Michael, I started it, and I just got during this COVID when I was at home and I was bored. I started it, but it's in the. I'm gonna wait until after we do the Wilbur Jackson book, and then I'm gonna do it.
Oh, Wilbur, you got two good ones.
Yeah, the guy that's doing the Wilbur Jackson book is an author from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do a book on Wilbur Jackson, first African American player at Alabama to get a scholarship. The whole story of Wilbur. Then they're gonna do a movie about it.
And you know what? Half those folks out there don't even know what number he wore, Will.
Yeah. Old Alabama fans do.
Yeah. You know what number he wore, can't you? He came to Alabama as a receiver, and he wasn't a running back when he came to Alabama. So he kept his number 80.
That's right.
Will.
Pat Dye was the one that recruited him, Coach Dye.
Yeah, at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And so Coach Dye gets film from Tom McClendon, who was the coach there at Carroll High. And he and Coach Pryor look at the film, and the reason they get the film was a quarterback. They had Alan Kelly, who was Joe Kelly's brother, and who was a very fine quarterback. And when he saw all they were doing was throwing screen passes to Wilbur Jackson, who's running for touchdown, he said, I don't want a quarterback, I want that guy.
Yeah.
So they recruited Wilbur, and Alan Kelly ended up going to Florida State to play quarterback.
That's a great story. And Wilbur's had a really good business down in Ozark for decades, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got 2 cleaning businesses.
Well, I tell you what, he's a great guy, great man, and no question about it.
Mike, you may not know this. He was drafted number 3 in the draft in the NFL.
I didn't realize that.
He got a $120,000 signing bonus.
Yeah.
Which back then was a lot of money.
Oh yeah, no
Did
question.
he get NFL retirement? Didn't he play about 8 years?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he played 8 years. Well, let me tell you what else he did though. He took that $120,000 and deposited it in a bank in Ozark. They loaned him, based on that, the money to build a house in Ozark, which he still lives in. And he built a house for his mom and daddy to live in, and when he retired, he moved into it.
That's smart.
His parents had passed away.
Mike Amos coming to you. Can you show us the ocean this morning, Mike? When's the last time you've been to the Yellow House? Will's got a house down there that we call the Yellow House.
Wilbur was smart. Have y'all happened to have watched this latest ESPN 30 for 30 on Michael Vick and his saga with the dog fighting? Fascinating. It was a great 2-part series. But Michael Vick had a lot more money than that, and he blew it all.
Here's a first-hand look of the Gulf of Mexico this morning. I bet you that was interesting. Covered. There's the beautiful white sand.
Beautiful beach. Nobody has beaches as pretty as our beaches.
Right now, Mike, it looks overcast. It doesn't look like it's very sunny this morning. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be a little bit of rain.
And look, that looks like some rain to your right. Go to your right a little bit and look at those clouds. Move it to your right. See there, look at those clouds, man. It looks sort of rough right now on the Gulf. It's live from the Gulf of Mexico.
Beach cam.
And this is from my house, is that right?
This is sponsored by Thomas Donuts, Captain Anderson, Grill, Hunt's Oyster Bar.
Yeah. You're right.
It makes me want to go.
No question about
Y'all
it.
right. You probably could go sell advertising to them.
Will, let me ask you another question. I know you're riding along, heading.
You got me unobstructed for the next 7 hours.
Oh yeah, it's not that far. Now you're gonna go up and go through. You're gonna go through my daughter-in-law, not daughter-in-law, but
Which way do you go to Memphis?
yeah, you're going through Memphis, but you're going up there through Russell County, Alabama. Is that right?
No. You go to Birmingham, and then there's a new interstate, Mike, that goes
Oh yeah.
all the way to Memphis, I-22.
Yeah, and it bypasses several towns now. Is that right?
That's right, Jasper.
Yeah.
Jasper.
It's an I-22 corridor.
It used to be the worst traffic jam in the world when all the traffic had to go through Jasper, and when they built that interstate, it made all the difference in the world.
So they bypassed Jasper.
He'll go through Winfield and Hamilton. He'll go through all those.
Yeah.
This bypasses everything.
Well, there's a barbecue restaurant. There's a barbecue restaurant there up there called the Boar's Butt. That's the name of it. It's called the Boar's Butt, and it is really good. Let's go back to politics a little bit.
Yeah.
And Will's
He's our
son,
expert.
Will's son is a real story in itself on how he got involved with Trump. But he got to know Trump personally. What kind of person is Donald Trump? I mean, really, the genuine person.
I have not talked to y'all in a couple of weeks, I know. David is the only person that has told Donald Trump no since he's been the president. Let me tell you what happened. About a month ago, Donald Trump fired his campaign director and hired another guy, and if you've been paying attention, his campaign is completely turned around. I mean, he's really ginned up, and that's why he's going to win. I mean, you go around and you see these crowds he's got. My goodness. Biden had Obama speak for him in Philadelphia yesterday. He didn't draw flies. There weren't 300 people there. You know, Trump spoke to 30,000 people in Erie, Pennsylvania night before last. Last night he was in North Carolina. Another 30,000 people. I mean, just, you know. But anyway, David was the new campaign director, wanted David to go back to Pennsylvania and help them in the campaign in Pennsylvania. And David told him, said, look, I can't do it. I've got a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and one on the way, and I've got no help. I've got to stay with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, 2 days later, he calls him up and says, David, we need you over at the White House for a meeting. So he goes over to the White House and meets with the president.
Well, no, wait a minute. Not from Ozark, Alabama. Not your son. He sat down with the president.
Sat down with Trump and the new campaign man, and he told the president, said, I really need you to go back to Pennsylvania. It's only 6 weeks. He said, Mr. President, I can't do it. I've got a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old. My wife expects them to be any time, you know, due like November 1st. And I just can't do it. And he said, but, you know, I can, you know, with the Hatch Act, you can't get involved in the campaign if you work for the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Trump called that guy. Listen to this now. 2 days later, Trump called the guy and said, I want that young man to work over here. Give him a job. So he brought him to the White House, which is where he's at now, and he's over all the political appointees up there in D.C. 2,500 of them. He's over them. He got a $50,000 raise.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, we're talking about your son, David.
That's right. And one of his friends said, well, David, when Biden wins, you're going to be out of a job. He said, let me tell you something. If Biden wins, I'm out of a job anyway. So, you know, what's he got to lose, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
What? How's his health, Will, after getting hit by the bus?
Well, this is the problem. You know, you had COVID and all that. He couldn't do his rehab. So he still can't do it. Virginia is the most liberal state east of the Mississippi. And everything's closed. All the gyms are closed, so he can't do his rehab. So his shoulder's still hurt, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna become a rich man from getting hit by that bus, isn't he?
He's got a lawsuit going. He's gonna get a bunch of money.
Are you his lawyer, or you got somebody else?
Mike, he's got a guy there in Reston, Virginia, that's an Indian. He wears a turban,
Yeah.
and the guy
He's from
he's like, is a
India.
genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from India originally, and he went to Harvard or Yale or somewhere like that, and he's handling his case, and he's a good one. So,
Yeah.
He's the Alexander.
Well, I thought that's worth a story, but you still didn't answer my question. What kind of fella is Trump? Is he really a genuine person?
Mike, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't gamble. Now, back in the day, he used to fool around women, but
Well, how many gambling casinos does he own, though, Will?
I think he's got one or two, not many.
It's called Trump Plaza. Doesn't he have a big hotel over in
He's got one in Atlantic City.
Atlantic City? Yeah, called Trump Tower.
Yeah, but Trump Tower in Vegas doesn't have a casino. It's just a hotel.
No, it does not.
Yeah. Well, Will, if somebody would have, without you calling on the phone today, I would have thought that Trump was trailing Biden.
Oh,
right now.
yeah, the narrative is he's going to get not only lose, but lose in the landslide.
And then
but
we talked to Will Matthews of Ozark, Alabama, ladies and gentlemen.
he
And
says,
he
he
claims
says
that
not
he's
so
gonna
fast,
win.
not so fast, my
He says,
friend.
not so fast, my friend. He's gonna wallop him. Is that true?
It'd be a great
Hey, Mike, let me tell you how corrupt CNN is. They issued a poll saying that Doug Jones is going to beat Coach Tuberville.
Yeah.
They issued a poll said he's ahead by 2 points in Alabama. Hear me out. Coach Tuberville will beat Doug Jones by over 500,000 votes.
That's a lot of votes.
You can write it down. It will be over 500,000 votes.
This is the opinion of one Will Matthews, our attorney at the Matthews Law Firm in Ozark, Alabama. Will, I want to throw another thing out at you this morning, Will. My Charles Henderson High School Trojans went to Ozark, went to Matthews Stadium, and walloped Carroll High School. What happened to that?
I thought they just barely won.
Well, hey, a win's a wallop
We're
as far
calling
as I'm concerned.
It was like 31 to 24 or something.
I know it, but hey, we won, Will.
Well, guess what? You won't win another game.
I know it, we quit. We beat y'all, and then we decided we would quit football for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Ozark did the same thing. They're out for the rest of the
Are they really? Boy, oh boy.
They have forfeited their last 2 games.
You know what? Before it's all over with, we might not even see the playoffs the way this thing's going.
They have closed Carroll High.
They have closed Carroll High School?
Yes.
Man, oh man. You know what? These kids are just sitting there just hoping and praying they'll close Charles Henderson, I'm sure.
Well, they might.
So they don't have to go back to after Christmas. That would be a heck of a time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Carroll High is officially closed.
Well, I hate to hear that, Will. Will, I was just I was just joking with you. Anytime, my team can beat your team from Ozark, I want to say so. But and they were going to the playoffs. Did you know that? Carroll was eligible for the playoffs, weren't they?
Yeah, they were 3 and 4. I think they had won enough games.
And see, Charles Henderson, we fixing to just be one win season, so they decided they'd go ahead and quit.
Yeah, we got a big Sun Belt game tonight. We need to mention Appalachian State will be hosting Arkansas State. Appalachian State's a 13-point favorite.
Appalachian State is a what? How much favorite?
13-point favorite.
Shoot, man, I jump all over Arkansas State. I jump all over Arkansas State in that game.
I think it's that Appalachian, though.
Yeah, over under 68. Also tonight, you got a pro game. You got Philadelphia, 4.5-point favorite against the New York Giants.
Oh, boy. I'd have to go with Philadelphia probably in that game.
Getting back to my
Carson Wentz is struggling, though. They're talking about maybe Jalen Hurts might start playing.
Wouldn't that be something to see old Hurts out there?
Hurts and Tua are playing at the same time.
Hey, Michael, what's the
in Philadelphia is 45.
That is low.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Will? What'd you say it would be?
I say it's under.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's hard to figure. All of that's hard to figure.
I think it goes under big time.
Yeah. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend we've got a big game out at Pike Liberal Arts as number one ranked team in the state in Glenwood Academy out of Phoenix City travels to Pike Liberal Arts to the Landing Curvin Stadium. That game is a 7 o'clock kickoff. Glenwood 7-0, Pike Liberal Arts 6-1. And did you ever know what happened to Charles Henderson? Did you ever know the story behind all this, Will?
Yeah, why they're in?
Usually Charles Henderson has a very respectable football team. Well, the local private school right here in town got 16 players to leave the Charles Henderson.
Several other schools, or were they all Charles Henderson?
Most all of them. I think there was close to 16 players. 16 players
So
left.
I heard 9.
Well, most of them left Charles Henderson to go play with the private school here in Troy, and then it just ruined Charles Henderson's program. All of them were starters on Charles Henderson's team. In fact, 6 of those players were Division 1A prospects.
Well, I guess they'll have a chance to beat Glenwood then.
2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, you're exactly right. They're probably going to beat Glenwood, as good as Glenwood is. But Glenwood, they get all those Columbus players, so they are able to recruit players all over the country.
They got 5 guys from Central Phoenix City, is what I've heard.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But of course, that's going to be a big game here in Troy this weekend, and Thompson High School of Alabaster, Mike, it seems to be the dominant team, 9-0. What makes them so good, Mike?
Well, I mean, they've got a really good coach. They've had a lot of good talent. Alabaster area in Birmingham's growing like crazy. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the state of Alabama, so they've just got a lot of athletes. Their school is, nicest in probably the southeast.
Yeah.
The football stadium is brand new. I think it costs about $15 million to build.
Hey, Mike, where is the Pike Lift game going to be?
Going to be in Troy, on the campus of Pike Liberal Arts.
Okay, it won't be in the big
It's located right behind Walmart. That stadium is right behind Walmart.
Right behind the
Why wouldn't play it at the big stadium?
Huh?
Why wouldn't they play it at the college stadium?
I don't know. Well, first of all, it's homecoming. They got a big game there this weekend, so.
Pike Liberal Arts has never played a regular season game there.
Oh yeah, no. They've got their own little stadium. And,
they played for the state championship. They played in the playoffs there once or twice.
Yeah, sure. It's going to be a good football game, and that's where I'm going to be. You look at these teams out there. One of them is Fife. Everybody says, that was Jim Fife's team. He used to love to give a score on Fife. Well, they're the best program right now as far as record-wise in the state of Alabama. Of course, Hoover and Thompson, all great programs and all that. But Fife wins every year, and they're located up on Sand Mountain, and there's nothing else for those kids to do but play football. And, of course, Pike County High School of Brundage is trying to make it to the playoffs, and they're doing pretty well right now. Slocum is 7-1. Opp is 7-2. So they've got a chance to make some noise in Class 3A. And of course, Brantley's got a kid named Tucker Kilcrease. He's a 1A player. He's a quarterback, and Troy had already got a commitment from him. And he's got 2 more years, I think. Well, 2.
One more.
One more. That's right. He's a junior now, and he'll be a senior next year. So he's got 1 more year.
Hey, Dad, why don't we take a break and we'll go over some college games?
All right, we will. We're going to take a break. The show's brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass, where they've got a super sale. Super sale, and remember this: nobody beats the Premier deal. Nobody.
Lieutenant Governor
Let's rock! It's Rocktober at Premier.
Yeah,
rock out in a new Ram with rock bottom prices. Save up to $17,777 on new Ram Crew Cab. New Jeep Renegade. Start at $17,988. Shop us now. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody!
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Is she related to the girl that got the patent on the blue tent, the blue shirt?
No, they're on my mother's side.
Okay. Back to our show, and we're talking to Will Matthews of Ozark, Alabama, local attorney there. Of course, his dad came here back, before the war, or during the war, or after the war?
During the Korean War, yeah.
During the Korean War, and he actually was from Tennessee, and of course he he was a Tennessee cheerleader, wasn't he? Wasn't he a cheerleader for the Tennessee Vols?
Mike, he was the head cheerleader in 1951 when they won the national championship.
Under coach, under the general.
Robert Neyland.
Yeah, Neyland.
General Neyland. Yeah.
And was that Johnny Majors their tailback, or who?
Majors played about 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah. He did mid-50s.
Well, and let me ask this. Let me find out what these guys around here know. Majors was a great single-wing tailback at Tennessee, but his whole family were great athletes, and his daddy was the head coach of what college?
Swanee.
Well, I should have asked you if you wanted to answer that question. Swanee.
Well, you said we learn something on this show every. I didn't know that.
That's right.
Was Swanee in the SEC then?
No.
Yeah.
They weren't. No, they weren't in the SEC in the 50s.
They weren't in the SEC, no.
They were for a while, but not in the 50s.
Yeah, they were back in 1920 or something.
Now let me ask y'all a personal question. Georgia Tech beat Swanee by how many points? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I know.
200 and something to
212 to nothing.
222 to 0.
Yeah, what year was that? As my guy's making a bunch of noise back there. Can you hear him?
I'm gonna say 1921 or 20.
Yeah, it's the largest score of any football team in history. 212. Georgia Tech beat Swanee 212 to nothing, I think.
How many points did Troy score in basketball? The most points scored in the basketball game of all time.
Yeah, Troy.
Over 200.
258 to 143.
Yeah, 258. I want to say 147, but Michael said 143.
Explain to me this, Dad. I mean, I keep on looking at this UAB Louisiana Lafayette game tomorrow night, and now Lafayette is a 1-point favorite at UAB at Legion Field. Is Lafayette better than UAB?
Well, let me ask you this: is something wrong with the UAB's quarterback? Is he going to be able to play?
Well, I mean, the starter kind of got hurt, but then the other guy was, beat him out.
Yeah.
The guy that beat South Alabama so bad, he's a better quarterback anyway.
All right, we got Will here. Let's go over the some of the games this week in college football, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be a good one because, hey, guess who starts playing this week? Ohio State, Nebraska, Penn State. Hey, all those guys are starting back playing this week. Should be a lot of fun.
You got Friday night, the Big Ten starts. You got Illinois against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 19.5-point favorite at home.
Okay.
I think Wisconsin will beat them 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Okay. Illinois, where are they playing that game?
In Madison. Dad's actually been to a game, a Wisconsin-Troy game.
I sure have, and had a good time. All right, go ahead.
You got a good game in the ACC. North Carolina will host North Carolina State. North Carolina's a 14.5-point favorite.
Boy, oh boy, I love North Carolina State in this situation. Boy, this is a.
Mike, you'll love North Carolina State when it's about 28-0 at the you'll really love them.
Wait a minute, you think North Carolina's going to do that to them?
Oh yeah, North Carolina will kill them.
No, listen. Tell me.
They got beat by Florida State, Will.
Yeah, Florida State beat them last week.
I know that they're coming back with a vengeance.
All right, I'll take North Carolina State in a hurry with 14 points.
This might be the highest.
Oh, wait a minute. I just got information, Will, and you should have. You lawyers won't trade this information. I just heard from a good friend of mine out in the audience here, Will, that North Carolina State's quarterback broke his leg. You weren't going to talk about that. You knew it, though, didn't you?
I didn't know it. I just know they're going to be roaring to go.
Yeah, I read that too on the scroll. He broke his ankle or something.
Oh, gosh, and he was good, too. Okay, who's next?
This might be the highest line I've ever seen in a conference game. Clemson will host Syracuse. They're a 46-point favorite at home against Syracuse.
Boy, you're right.
God.
That might be the highest line I've ever seen for a conference game.
I'd almost take Syracuse here. That is way too much in Clemson.
And Georgia Tech. Give Georgia Tech 63 points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got you. Will Matthews is on the other line this morning.
The best game of the day in the Sun Belt will be Coastal Carolina, who's undefeated, ranked 25th in the country. They're 5-0. We'll play Georgia Southern 3-1. Coastal's a 5.5-point favorite at home.
And Coastal is ranked in the top 25.
Are they playing that game at Coastal?
Yeah.
Oh,
Coastal is ranked 25th in the AP poll, I think. And I got Mike's preseason football magazine from Lindy's. They were the 120th ranked team in that preseason magazine. Yeah. One of the last place teams. And they're in the top 25.
You know, Coastal is pretty good, and so is Georgia Southern. This will be a close one. And the line's 5.5 for Coastal's a 5.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
Let's just.
Mike,
that might be my upset special right there.
Georgia Southern's going to win that game straight up.
I'm about to think that myself, Will.
That game will be on ESPNU before the Troy Georgia State game.
Okay, ESPNU. Mike, how do you get
Hey, Mike, what's the over/under on Troy and Georgia State?
It was 70. I'll have to look again. Ohio State hosts Nebraska. Ohio State is a 26.5-point favorite against Nebraska.
Boy, that's a bunch, especially first of the year. 20.5-point favorite over Nebraska. Surely Nebraska will. Rice, you need to do some research on that. Has Nebraska got anybody that can score?
Their quarterback was cited as a star.
They got Martinez come back. Yeah, Martinez is a 3-year starter.
Of course, they're playing against a grown man in Ohio State. Oh, boy, he said it was 28.5?
26.5.
Oh, 26.5, okay.
You got Auburn going to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 3-point underdog. Auburn is -3, over/under 70.5.
70.5 over/under.
Yeah.
Will said Ole Miss. What do you say, Mike?
Ole Miss take it to the bank.
I don't know. I sort of like, Auburn's got better players, than Ole Miss has got. I'm gonna take Auburn.
Didn't Auburn have better players than South Carolina?
Will, that was my upset special of the week, South Carolina last week. But now Auburn's mad, Will. They're mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going. Interesting game.
Wait a minute. What do you think, Mike?
Going?
No, I'm gonna throw this in Will's face.
We'll see Forrest Lee.
War Eagle.
See you tomorrow, Forrest.
War Eagle, Will Matthews. Auburn is going to win the football game. Auburn is going to win the football game at Ole Miss. It is a 11 o'clock kickoff right here on ESPN. It's Auburn and Ole Miss. Look for those Tigers to win this week. Will Auburn, the luck of Auburn, there's no team in college football history that's any luckier than Auburn is in this situation. And there's and I tell you what, this coach at Auburn has got to win this game, or they're going to send a moving van to his house.
Well, he's in trouble, there's no question.
But the thing about it, who can afford, even Jimmy Rain can't afford $20 million buyout.
He's all right. He's not going anywhere.
Jimmy Rain's a billionaire.
I know he is, but still, $20 million is a lot of money to give a football coach to tell him goodbye.
The Auburn game's on SEC Network, not ESPN. Interesting game here. A lot of people are saying maybe upset here. Pittsburgh will host Notre Dame. Notre Dame's 11-point favorite at Pittsburgh.
I like Pittsburgh.
Whoa, Notre Dame has not been playing very well. Everybody talks about their great defense. What's over under on that game, Mike?
43.5.
See, that'll tell you right there. A college game, 43.5. Something's wrong there, buddy. Well, that is low, isn't it? Don't you call it?
13-7.
Huh?
Notre Dame won 13-7 last week.
I know it. So,
you got Alabama 21-point favorite at Tennessee. CBS 2:30 game. Over under 66. I think Alabama's going to win the game. I don't know if they'll beat them by 21.
I think they will. I think Tennessee's out of there. Now the new head defensive line coach is Pruitt himself. They can't stop Alabama.
I feel like this will be Tennessee's best game of the year for some reason. Yeah. I think it's going to be kind of a tough for Alabama coming off the Georgia win emotionally. I think Alabama's going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah. Are they going to let any of that 106,000 fans in the ball game?
They'll have 25,000 there.
25,000 there.
Michael, do you remember 2009?
I was at the game. That smelled Cody's block. Yeah.
That's right. And Tennessee was terrible. And Alabama was number one in the country and was lucky to get out of it.
Oh, Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. All right, that's what I think about it.
So what do you think? Well, you think it's going to be a close game?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, listen, I love the song, but I don't like it after a Tennessee touchdown, Will.
I think Tennessee will keep it maybe 14 points.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think Alabama will blow them out.
Tennessee's lost 13 in a row to Alabama. 13 in a row. Yeah. Can you imagine that?
14 out of 15, too, and it should be 15 in a row. I seem like the Shula beat them his next to last year. Then the next year, his last year, Alabama should have won or could have won.
One of the games went into 5 overtime.
I think that was Shula's last year. So, it could be 15 in a row straight.
All right, here it is right now, Will, and you should know it. Your daddy had to thrown it in your face many, many times. What was the biggest mistake the University of Tennessee ever made?
I think firing Bill Battle.
No, not well. I say firing Philip Fulmer. Philip Fulmer owned Alabama. Golly, we couldn't beat them when Philip Fulmer was there. Is that right, Ryan?
I think they won 7 in a row, I think, at one time.
And then they go and fire him, and now he's the athletic director.
Well, that was during their Alabama's horrible time too. Auburn beat them 6 or 7 in a row.
Yeah. And then let me ask you another. I want to ask you another little question from your daddy. You remember Tennessee came out in that real light orange-colored jersey, real light orange-colored. Well, they made, and you know what? They did it when they got darker and darker and darker orange. It got worse and worse. But boy, when they had that light orange-colored jersey, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
And you know why they had the light orange-colored jersey? Don't you? They didn't have to worry about wearing a dark jersey on home games and a light jersey on away games. They could just wear the same jersey at every game.
Yeah.
All right, now another interesting game here. Penn State will go to Indiana. Indiana's football program's got a lot better. Penn State's 6-point favorite at Indiana.
Boy, that tells you something, doesn't it?
Penn State.
I would take that in that low line. I would take Penn State too.
You know that. Let's point out that there's no fans at any of these Big Ten games, and I don't know why they feel they got to do that. It's going to be. I don't like it. I don't like the atmosphere. The NFL players don't like it.
But we are Penn State. Is that right, Mike? We are Penn State.
A real good game in the Big 12. Also, Iowa State will travel to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a 3.5-point favorite.
There's your upset of the day.
All right.
Iowa State beat.
All right, that game. So what you said line was on that game?
3.5. Iowa State's only loss is to Louisiana Lafayette at the start of the season. They beat everybody else they played.
Is the Oklahoma State quarterback back?
Yeah, he's back.
He is back.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm a man, Mike. I'm a man. You don't talk to these players because I'm a man. You remember that?
Didn't that happen the week after the Troy game?
That's week after Troy beat them. Could have put 60 on the board against them. And they stayed. Let me tell you a little bit about Oklahoma State. They stayed at our Holiday Inn right here in Troy. Nobody stays here in Troy, but they did. They stayed at one in the Holiday Inn where they stayed. It stayed there. It was under another name, but I rode out there and I saw that team, and they were a good-looking team, but boy, they ran into a buzzsaw with Troy that day.
They did.
It seemed like Boone Pickens could put them in any hotel anywhere in the country. They said the Holiday Inn in Troy.
That's right, and you notice Boone landed his helicopter on the practice field right below the stadium. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Oh yeah, he landed his helicopter. Of course,
we were pointing down saying there's the billionaire.
That's right. And then
I
by the third quarter.
I thought that was Scrushy.
No, this was Pickens.
That was Pickens.
But he was sitting in the box up there, and he left in the third quarter. Just said because we were just beating them like a drum. And I tell you, it got started in a rough way. It was raining on Friday when they came in, and they called over here at Charles Henderson High School and they says, "I hear y'all got an indoor facility." Troy University didn't have an indoor facility, but Charles Henderson High School had an indoor facility. And this is true what I'm saying here. All right, so the Oklahoma State rent some buses. They flew in here, but then they rented some buses to come from Montgomery to Troy. So I think they had 4 or 5 bus loads of players and so forth. They came over to Charles Henderson, and they were practicing indoors. And so the head coach at Oklahoma State was going through a bunch of drills and had all his teams, the whole team in that indoor facility. And coach, the head football coach, Fountain, had to go into the facility to pick up something from his from that facility. And the coach there at Oklahoma State says, "Hey, sir, you're going to have to get out of here. You're going to have to move on and get out of here because we can't continue to talk while you're in this facility." And my buddy turned around and said, "Let me tell you this. I'm the head football coach here at Charles Henderson High School, hey, and I'll leave this facility when I get good and ready. And sure enough, Fountain took his time and got what he needed, but he said that made him as mad. Here he was. I'm letting him use our facility, and he's telling me I got to get out of there. That was a true statement, and Troy went on that day and just beat the living daylights out of them. If they tried, they could have put 60 on them that day.
I remember Leotis McKelvin had a great name.
They paid them for doing it, didn't they?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but that was true, what I said. And of course, I think Charles Simpson might have had a football game that Friday, and he had to go back and get something out of there,
Right.
All right, you got Georgia State coming to Troy. Vegas likes Georgia State. It's only 2.5. Troy over under 68.5. You got to lean towards Georgia State.
Boy, I tell you what, they're the fastest team at the line of
Calling
scrimmage
plays.
and calling plays. They're probably the fastest team in America.
Tempo of getting off.
That's
the
right.
play.
You think Ole Miss was fast, and they were fast against Alabama, but this guy at Georgia State's got his team running faster than anybody.
It should be a great game, entertaining game. I hope we have a good crowd.
And that kickoff has been moved to 3 o'clock, from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, so that's when homecoming at Troy University will be, and hopefully we'll have a big crowd and a lot of folks come and enjoy themselves.
Troy is undefeated in the Fun Belt.
That's right. They're 3-1.
You got Missouri hosting Kentucky. Kentucky's a 5.5-point favorite in Columbia against Missouri.
I tell you, this Kentucky team's got me. They run the football. They don't throw it. They run it. And
I think they'll beat Missouri with ease.
But Missouri's not that bad on defense.
Missouri's physical on defense.
Yeah, they really are. They might play them tough. I don't know. That one's going to be a tough one.
West Virginia and Neil Brown travel to Texas Tech. West Virginia's won 3 games. I think they're 3-1. Texas Tech's 1-3. Only a 3.5-point favorite though.
I think Texas Tech's going to beat him. Yeah, they're in what's the name of that little town out there? Lubbock. Bud Casey always told me you got to want to go to Lubbock. He said he used to be, he coached at Lubbock, and they'd be practicing, and these giant sandstorms would come just at any time, roaring through the town. And they said everything was brown. All the cars were brown. The houses were brown. He said our jerseys had helmets were brown. Everything it was all brown because of the sandstorms. He said you got to want to live in Lubbock.
Did he coach at Texas Tech after Auburn or before?
Before Auburn. Before Auburn, he coached at Georgia Tech. He coached at Texas Tech. Let's see now.
TCU has all this.
Yeah, but that was after Auburn, the TCU, I think.
Hey, Mike, do you know who he coached for at Texas Tech?
Well, he ended up getting killed in a plane crash.
No, not him.
Texas Tech, I don't know.
Spike Dykes?
Nope. You're going to die when I tell you.
Oh, gosh, I know. Don't tell me this now.
I've played many a round of golf with this guy.
Red Run?
No.
I'm kidding with you.
Sloan, I remember when he coached at Texas Tech. Yeah, you're right. But I don't know. I don't think Bud played for Sloan.
Coach for him?
He didn't coach for him.
He may have been coach for Sloan. The guy that Bud coached ended up getting killed in a plane crash.
I don't know about him.
Yeah, Mike, do some research on that if you can.
Steve Sloan's a pretty good golfer, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good.
And Coach, Sloan coached at Texas Tech.
What is Steve Sloan doing these days, Will?
He's up in Cleveland, Tennessee, retired. I don't know what he's doing.
He was a good golfer, too, wasn't he?
He was an athletic director for some school down in Florida.
He was at Central Florida. He was athletic director at Central Florida. A good friend of mine, Ty Coppinger, worked for him.
Yeah, that's right. All right, South Carolina coming off the big Auburn win goes to LSU. LSU's going to have a new quarterback. Line is only 6.5, over under 55.5.
Oh gosh, take LSU and go ahead and put your house on it at that. LSU will beat that bunch at home. They playing at LSU.
Yeah.
LSU 6.5 points. They're mad. They're upset anyway, and
They got their quarterback's out.
yeah.
LSU's quarterback playing a freshman quarterback. You say take LSU.
Exactly right. They got it right there. Our Mafia man's ready to go.
Okay.
You got the Mountain West starting back up.
I would go on the record and say I wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina wins the ball game.
Oh boy, I can't see it.
You got Boise State against Utah State. Of course, John Hartwell, the Troy athletic director, has been at Utah State for about 5 years. Boise State's a 16-point favorite at home.
But this is their first game, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
And they playing
Utah State's quarterback was a first-round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers last year.
Okay, I got you.
So they're going to have a new quarterback.
Boise State's
And
tough.
what's the line on Boise? How many points did Boise got to win by?
16.
Boise State is always good, and they've been always good for 25, 30 years now.
And this game's played at Boise?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
After that, you got the best game of the day in the Big Ten at 6:30 on ABC. Michigan is only a 3-point favorite at Minnesota. TJ Fleck, the guy that beat Auburn last year.
I tell you what, I like Minnesota here. Minnesota is good. Fleck has done a wonderful job with Minnesota.
He sure has. But don't you think Michigan has to have a lot more athletes than Minnesota? I mean,
Did Minnesota beat Auburn?
yeah, wasn't the fluke either.
Last year, bowl game.
It was a close game on the scoreboard, but if you look at the stats, Minnesota dominated that game.
That's going to be a good game. I'm glad to see them back playing. Give us some more, Mike.
The best game of the day in the American Conference is Cincinnati will travel to SMU. SMU is a 2.5-point favorite at home against Cincinnati.
What a ball game! You know they didn't play this past week because of the virus, and this game is played where? At Cincinnati?
No, it's going to be played in Texas, in Dallas.
SMU, boy, what a game this is going to be. Man,
It's going to be another 80-point game.
now, is Cincinnati undefeated? Has anybody beaten Cincinnati this year?
They've got one loss. SMU's undefeated.
Doesn't Cincinnati have a really good defense, or supposed to have a
They've
good
got
defense?
a pretty good football team. This is going to be tough.
They got a real good coach, Luke Fickell.
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be a heck of a game.
Cincinnati, I'll take Cincinnati.
And, God, I tell you, I don't even know who to take here.
Interesting line here, too. Virginia's been extremely disappointed. They travel to Miami. Miami's only a 12-point favorite at home against Virginia.
I like Miami, too. I'm the same way. Okay, Will.
I like Miami in that one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Will's on his way. Will, are you in Montgomery yet, or are you past Montgomery?
I blew through Montgomery 30 minutes ago.
Well, you going up, you going to cut across?
I'm going to Birmingham, then hit I-22 and head west.
In Jasper, okay.
You got Maryland against Northwestern. Tallulah Tumbapaloa transferred from Alabama to Maryland. Mike Locksley used to be the offensive coordinator. They'll travel to Northwestern. Northwestern's 11-point favorite against Maryland.
Hey,
golly.
Is Tallulah starting for Maryland?
That's what I heard.
Oh, they let him play immediately. He's good.
Yeah, they let him transfer right in.
They're playing at Northwestern, is that right?
Yeah, they're 11-point favorites.
Maryland had a couple of impressive wins early last year with the new coach Locksley, and then they just crashed and were awful.
Who's the coach now? Is Locksley the coach now?
Yeah, at Maryland.
You know, I got a feeling Maryland's going to beat them. with Tula at quarterback.
I just said the line's 11.
I know it.
Well,
that means Maryland's getting 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of like Maryland here.
Like little baby Tua. Yeah.
The little baby Tula is the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what Michael says.
Tallulah.
Now he played at he played in at
One of those Birmingham high schools. Thompson.
Thompson. Played at Thompson, yeah. And I thought he could run better than his brother. I thought he was a better runner than his brother was.
You got the Baylor Baptist going against Texas. Texas at home is a 8.5-point favorite against Baylor.
Oh boy. So you talk about Texas, Mike. He's supposed to have been a guru, but he's been a disappointment.
Tom Urban.
Yeah, who do y'all like here?
Who are they playing?
Playing Baylor.
Baylor.
I like Texas.
Baylor just lost in double overtime against West Virginia. I think they've had a week off.
Yeah,
West
okay.
Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah, okay. All right. Who else?
You got Iowa -3 at Purdue. Didn't you say the Purdue coach isn't coaching?
Iowa at Purdue. Yeah, that's right. He's got COVID.
He's got the COVID.
And
Les Miles has got the COVID.
what's the line on this, Mike? Iowa, Purdue.
3 points.
Urban Meyer,
They
Les
playing-
Miles,
playing at
and the
Purdue?
Purdue coach. That's 3 coaches right now that are out with COVID.
They playing at Purdue.
Yeah.
I like. Let me tell you, I like Iowa big in here. I like Iowa big.
I think a game I like. Virginia Tech only a 9-point favorite at Wake Forest. I like Virginia Tech in 9 points.
Well, it's according to who's going to show up for Virginia Tech. They've had so many players out with a virus, but they looked impressive last week. What's the line on that game?
It started at 7, now it's at 9, going to Wake Forest.
All right.
What's over under on that game?
68.
Over.
That game right there, over.
Wake Forest has scored over 30 the last 3 games in a row.
Okay. All right.
And then we'll finish. Oklahoma will travel to TCU. Oklahoma's only a 6.5-point favorite at TCU.
I tell you this, that guy scares me more than any football coach in America. The guy at TCU scares me more than any of them.
Really?
Yeah, he gets right. He'll win that game. You watch.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? You think Patterson can pull it out?
Yeah. He's.
You know, I kind of like Oklahoma now. Though they beat Texas and I don't know, quadruple overtime, and maybe they kind of figure some stuff out. Their defense is still horrible. Their offense is good.
How about that quarterback? Is he pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the gurus, Will Matthews, the guru from Ozark, and Mike Amos from Graden Beach, Florida, giving you his picks, and Bill Rice Jr.
I threw in a couple.
And yours truly. If you can take this tape and run it back and take who I said would win, go ahead and do that, and you'll end up having a great weekend. I'm being a little bit facetious.
Of course, Will can go down to Seneca and place a few wagers if he wants to.
Well, that's right.
They have sports betting.
Let me tell you a little something about the Northwestern game, and when you look at this, that game started off at 7. It's gone to 11. That's quite a bit. That's a big swing in Vegas. What do you think?
That's a huge swing.
Oh yeah, it's several $1 million.
So they know something.
So which game? Who was Northwestern playing?
Northwestern was playing Maryland.
And the line has started off at 7.5 and went to 11.
You got it. Yeah.
So all the money is going on Northwestern.
Yeah, that's right. And
a good article by Alex Scarborough on ESPN.com if anybody wants to read about the cigars, the origins of the decade-old tradition of smoking cigars in the Bama-Tennessee game.
Yeah.
ESPN.com and read that article. It'll be interesting.
Does Alabama get to smoke them in the Tennessee locker room? I guess they do.
Yeah.
It's
like a minor violation. And we need to mention also LSU has been put on 2 years of probation ban. 2 years of ban of OBJ. So that's
recruiting.
The great wide receiver for paying players.
Oh, God.
No, but Reed, there's more to it, though. OBJ handed out some money after a game, but the real thing...
After the national championship game, yeah.
Yeah, but what really got him was there was a booster that paid some offensive lineman they had ongoing. If you read the rest of that story that I'd never even heard about.
They're losing 8 scholarships over the next 2 years. That's a lot of scholarships.
So that wasn't just the OBJ, that it was this booster paying this offensive lineman that played at LSU. But 8 scholarships over 2 years is a big deal. I'm surprised this isn't getting more attention.
No question about it. I was looking at some games that are being played on Friday. And one of them, is, of course, is UAB and Lafayette. UAB's a 1-point favorite. I sort of like UAB here if everybody's healthy. Is the quarterback for UAB ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, Lacerno is the starter, the guy that beat out Johnson. I mean, he'll be your starter. This line's changed, so now Lafayette's a 1-point favorite.
Yeah. Of course, Wisconsin.
Mike, I'm going to predict that both coaches in that game will not be coaching those schools next year.
That's right. A good chance.
Yeah.
They're going to get hired. Both of them are going to get hired somewhere.
Yeah. You're exactly right, Will. Those 2 of the best coaches in America right there.
I can't believe Coach Clark has stayed at UAB this long. Is amazing the job he's done.
Yeah.
And I can't.
I heard he turned down Ole Miss, and that's kind of hard to believe. But
I
he
know
turned down Ole Miss.
Exactly.
He makes 1.6 million.
But how will UAB football do without Coach Clark? And they've spent all this money on this new stadium, so you could have UAB going back to being UAB and sunk all this money into this football program and regretting that they did it, right? If it goes,
You know the job Bill Clark wants. He wants the Auburn job.
You think so?
When is the new stadium going in at UAB?
next year.
Oh, next year, 55,000 seats. Yeah.
Downtown stadium.
He makes 1.65 million at UAB. That's not too bad.
Exactly.
Gus make $6 million.
Yeah.
$7 million.
Yeah, a bunch.
$7 million for that atrocity.
Yeah. You know.
Hey, he's beaten Nick Saban 3 times somehow.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this portion of our show, and of course brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks on the bypass, and also our $1 billion bank, Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need. Did you know this, Will? Troy Bank and Trust Company is now a $1 billion bank.
Wow.
And of course, one of the few locally owned $1 billion banks in Alabama, and of course, we're proud of them.
They just built one across the street from my house.
That's right. That's right. They have 2 branches now in Dothan. They've just like exactly.
Talk them up in Dothan for us.
That's right. They've had 2 now in Dothan. So 14 different places you can go and bank at Troy Bank and Trust Company.
Awesome.
Of course, we appreciate Will Matthews calling in this morning. And Will, how long are you going to stay up there in Memphis? And what's the big event that you're going to?
Coming back Sunday.
And you're just going to see your aunt? Is that right?
Yeah, and I'm going to play golf. May go to Graceland one day. I like doing that.
Well, I tell you, that decor is a 60s decor, though.
I wonder, is Graceland back open? I guess it is. Or do they never closed it?
Will this be the Memphis Country Club where you'll play golf, or where?
No. I will play at South Wind.
Okay, they got a lot of good golf courses out there.
That's where the FedEx Championship is.
FedEx is there. It's a very nice course.
How many people does FedEx employ in the Memphis area?
35,000.
Oh my gosh!
Will you play with your cousin or your aunt? Will you play with her?
She is actually a very good golfer.
Yeah.
Still plays well.
You gonna ask her to let you play the women's tees with her? Is that right?
I'll play regular tees.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, Will, thank you for your call, and of course we appreciate it so much. I hope you have a great trip.
It was the Will Matthews show, sponsored by the Will Matthews Law Firm.
That's right.
Drive safely, Will.
About it. Great job. See you later. Hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen, and of course we're getting ready for a huge college weekend, and we'll be right here in the morning for Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks Picks of the Week in the morning right here on this channel starting at 7 o'clock. So call all your friends on Facebook if you want to know who's going to win I'm going to tell you tomorrow, and Rice is going to try to tell you himself. And of course, Mike Amos.
Whoever I pick the other team, and you'll do great.
And also Jason Gregory will be here with Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.